Imagine setting sail across the vast, blue expanse of the Pacific Ocean, with nothing but the stars above and the water below. No compass, no GPS, no maps. Sounds impossible, right? For most of us, it would be a terrifying prospect. But for the ancient Polynesian navigators, it was just another day at sea. How did they do it? They didn't just look at the ocean. They listened to it. They could sense the ocean's very pulse, the faint, almost imperceptible vibrations of islands hidden hundreds of miles beyond the visible horizon. This wasn't magic. It was a profound, almost forgotten science of the sea. Before embarking on these incredible voyages, they would perform a sacred ceremony known as the Whispering Tide Ritual. Picture this: the navigators, men and women of immense skill and wisdom, kneeling on the shore at dawn. Their hands are pressed firmly into the cool, damp sand, their eyes closed in deep concentration. They weren't praying in the way we might think. They were attuning themselves to the world around them. They called this hearing the ocean think. It was a moment of complete connection, a communion between human and nature, where the subtle language of the waves was understood not with the ears, but with the entire body. So, what were they actually feeling? What secrets did the ocean whisper to them through the sand? Modern science is only just beginning to catch up with this ancient wisdom, and it gives us a fascinating glimpse into the human brain's potential. Today, we call this phenomenon wave pattern memory. The ocean is a constant symphony of movement. Waves travel for thousands of miles, and when they encounter a landmass, even a tiny atoll far out at sea, their pattern is disrupted. They bend, they reflect, they create a unique wave shadow that extends for miles. Think of it like a rock in a stream. You can see the ripples and disturbances the rock creates long before you see the rock itself. The Polynesian navigators were sensing these disturbances. The low-frequency vibrations, too subtle for most of us to notice, would travel through the water, through the hull of their canoes, and even through the ground itself. By pressing their hands to the sand, they were essentially using the entire island as a giant sensory organ, picking up on these faint signals from distant lands. It was a form of natural sonar, built into their very being. Over generations of living in harmony with the sea, their brains and bodies literally adapted. This wasn't a random guess or a lucky break. It was a learned, practiced, and perfected skill. Their brains became uniquely wired to recognize and interpret these incredibly subtle, low-frequency vibrations. It is similar to how a musician can hear the nuances of a single note within a complex orchestra, or how a perfumer can identify dozens of individual scents in a single fragrance. Their senses were trained to a level that seems almost superhuman to us today. But here's where it gets even more interesting: the real zap moment that connects this ancient art to modern science. Researchers studying the effects of rhythmic stimuli on the brain have found something remarkable long-term. Consistent exposure to rhythmic sounds and vibrations, like the constant rhythm of ocean waves, can significantly improve what is known as alpha synchronization in the brain. Alpha waves are associated with a state of relaxed wakefulness, mental coordination, and calmness. It's the same brainwave state that people try to achieve through modern mindfulness practices and meditation. So, when the Polynesian navigators were listening to the ocean, they were effectively entering a deep meditative state. This heightened state of awareness allowed them to filter out the noise and focus with incredible clarity on the subtle patterns they were sensing. The constant rhythm of the sea wasn't just a background noise. It was a tool that sharpened their minds and unlocked a deeper level of perception. The ocean wasn't just a body of water to be crossed. It was a living entity, a conscious partner in their journey. It spoke to them, and because their minds were calm, focused, and synchronized, they remembered how to listen. This incredible ability went beyond just wave patterns. These master wayfinders had an entire library of knowledge stored in their minds. They understood the stars with an intimacy that modern astronomers, with all their powerful telescopes, can only admire. They knew the flight paths of specific birds, understanding that certain species would only fly a certain distance from land, acting as living signposts in the sky. They could read the color of the water, the shape of the clouds that form over islands, and even the smell of the air, which changes as you approach land due to vegetation. It was a holistic system where every piece of the natural world was a clue, a word in the language of navigation. Their canoes, the magnificent double-hulled vessels known as waka or vaca, were also part of this sensory system. They were designed not just for speed and stability, but to transmit the feeling of the water. The navigators could lie on the cross beams connecting the two hulls and feel the subtle rocking and pitching caused by different wave swells intersecting. A primary swell from a distant storm, a secondary swell reflecting off a nearby island. They could differentiate between them, building a dynamic, three-dimensional map of the unseen ocean around them. They were, in essence, reading a braille map of the sea with their entire bodies. It's a humbling reminder that technology isn't just about screens and circuits. For the Polynesians, the most advanced technology they possessed was the human mind, trained to its absolute peak and working in perfect harmony with the natural world. They demonstrate that our potential for perception is far greater than we often realize. We live in a world filled with noise and distraction, a constant barrage of information that can dull our senses. We've forgotten how to be still, how to listen to the subtle rhythms of the world around us. The story of the Polynesian navigators is more than just a fascinating piece of history. It's a lesson. It teaches us that there is a deep wisdom embedded in the natural world, waiting for us to pay attention. It shows us that by cultivating a state of quiet awareness, we can perceive things that are normally hidden from us. Their legacy challenges us to look beyond our screens, to step outside, and to simply listen. What is the wind telling us? What is the rhythm of our own city? What is the pulse of the earth beneath our feet? The ocean spoke to them, and they remembered how to listen. Perhaps, in our own way, we can learn to listen again too. Maybe silence isn't empty. Maybe it's a compass. And maybe, just maybe, the sea remembers who we are. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the past. If you found this as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into culture and history, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep listening.